Hey everybody, Steve here from the South Australian Judo Academy. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about goal setting and why it's such an important skill. To begin with, I'll give you a bit of a background on my sporting career. So I began Judo here as a kid, as about a 6-year-old, and as my interest in competition grew, it became apparent that South Australia had never really had a huge amount of high-level success, international success or national success in Judo, and to be honest, in most combat sports. Until I went to the Olympic Games in 2008, South Australia had never had a combat sport Olympian. So what that meant is, from a culture point of view, I spent a lot of time training interstate and overseas. And then when I would come back, our culture here was a little bit more perhaps recreational than what my goals were. So even though my training partners were fantastic and I had some great coaches, a lot of the time what my personal goals were not aligned with the people that I was surrounded with, which is perfectly fine, but that's just how it was. So it became really apparent to me that I had to become really good at goal setting, and I was going to have to become incredibly disciplined, more so than what my interstate competitors were, if I was going to make it, because I didn't have the luxury of having a big group of people to drag me along with them. So we're going to talk about some of the skills we need. So to begin with goal setting, let's talk about the goal itself, okay? We need a goal that is realistic. If my goal is to go to the Olympic Games in 2024 in the 400 meters, that's not a realistic goal. So pretty quickly, when I start running 400 meter laps this afternoon, I'm going to go, don't want to do that. Okay, so it's got to be a realistic goal. And that goal can be anything from, hey, I want to win my jiu-jitsu state title, I want to get my green belt in judo, whatever it is, okay? It needs to be a goal that you're passionate about. So if your goal is, hey, I want to run the marathon, I don't know why you want to run a marathon, but if it was, and you hate running, you're going to find really quickly that the goal, the idea of all the fancy stuff that goes with the goal, telling people you ran a marathon, is going to quickly not seem important when you're suffering. Okay, when going gets tough and you've got to push through, it's not going to be important. So it needs to be a goal that you're really passionate about. And it's important that we have both short and long-term goals, but they need to be aligned. So again, if your goal is to go to the Olympic Games, it might first of all be, hey, I need to win this competition locally, and then I need to win this, and then I need to make sure that I achieve this, okay? But all of them are aligned with the big goal. And the other thing that's super important is that the goal needs to be measurable. So we get so many people come into the gym and they say to us, oh, I'm just not progressing, I'm just not progressing. And that's what a fantastic part is in martial arts. They have gradings, and also martial arts that have competition. Because what it does is it gives us a real measurable approach to how we're doing. So, we can go, hey, no, you are improving. Like, you were a white belt, you didn't know anything, and now you're a blue belt, and look, this, and this. So we've got a measurable goal, and that's really important. Again, if you're not into martial arts, you probably should be. But if you're not, let's say running's your thing, measurable goal is I used to run the 5K in 35 minutes, and now I'm running it in 25. That's a really measurable goal. All right. After we've done our goal setting, we need to plan. Planning is our next section, and everything in our planning needs to revolve around achieving that goal. So our first part is, what do we need to do to achieve this? And people love planning. This is the part most people find the easiest. So they go, yeah, sweet. Okay, so I want to get my green belt in judo. So I'm going to have to go to judo on Monday and Wednesday and Friday. Cool, easy, done. That's the part that people find easy. The next part is, what are the skills that I need to achieve this? So, okay, I want to win the jiu-jitsu Pan Pacs this year. Okay, so what skills am I going to need? I'm going to have to become fit. All right, I'm going to have a submission that I'm really good at. I'm going to have this, and this. Okay, cool. So that's the part. And that needs to be closely linked up with, what do I need to do to get there, the two things. So if you need to be fit, you've got to make sure your fitness is involved. Your technique's got to be involved. So those two are closely kind of aligned. And then the other part of planning is, what resources do I have to use? This is the part where I constantly see people with a glass half empty approach. Oh, but my gym's not as big as the gym they have over in that city, or I don't have as many training partners as they've got at that gym, or blah, 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 blah. Okay? Everybody's got resources, and it's up to you to work out the best way to use the ones you've got. So it might be at home, you might go, what are my resources here? Okay, cool, I've got a skipping rope, or I've got a bed frame that I can use for some push-ups, cool. So they're resources that we can use. Your other resources are coaches and mentors. They may be physical in front of you, people who you can use. Hey, what do you think of this? What do you think of that? It could be people you can contact through online. Could be your friends that you feel are really good at keeping you on the right direction. You'd be amazed sometimes how people who don't necessarily even have the same skill set that you do can give valuable feedback. You know, you can say to your wife, hey, what do you think about when I'm doing this shadow uchikomi? And it's amazing how quite often people who we don't realize how much they understand because of how much they've watched you do can be like, hey, I can't do that, but I can see when you're doing it, you're falling back onto your heels. So that's a valuable resource. And the other valuable resource is what skills do you have? So for example, if you know that you're great at training in the morning, sweet, train in the morning. That's a good resource. Use it. Cool. The hardest part we find is the accountability, okay? So the accountability part is the bit that most of us struggle with. We're great at the goal setting. Yes, sweet, I'm gonna win the nationals. And we're great at planning because that's fun. But the accountability is where we struggle. So first of all, record everything. Record everything in advance of what you're gonna do that you've already planned. So these are the sessions I'm gonna do, blah, 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 blah. From there, record your progress. So you've got your sessions planned out. This is what I'm gonna do. And you write all that in advance because that's when you're in a good mood and you think, yeah, I can take on the world. But then be honest with yourself. If you skipped a session, write down that you skipped a session. If you think you flaked out in a session, write that down. If you can, have measurable things. So in this session, I did, for something easy to explain, I did 15 push-ups in 30 seconds, I had a 10-second rest, and I did it 3 times. That way, next week, you can look at that and you can say, hey, have I improved? Have I not improved? That's what's going to help you stay on track there. So record everything, super, super important. Have measurable progress. So again, this kind of links in with recording everything. Make sure there's stuff that you can measure. Don't just, especially when you're on your own, because you're not going to know. So if you're a runner, for example, and you're out there running and you've got no stopwatch and you've got no way of knowing how far you've ran, how do you know? How do you know you're improving? Okay, so even in martial arts, we can do the same thing. Oh, okay, I threw 50 kicks, or I did this throw 100 times, whatever it might be. Okay, so make sure that things are measurable. And we need to constantly reassess all the time. Is what we're doing working? Okay, if it's not working, why not? For example, I might look at it and go, I get 3 weeks in and go, you know what, if I keep doing this, my back's gonna break down and I'm not gonna reach my goal. So I might need to look at it and go, what was important 3 weeks ago is not necessarily as important now. So my goal still remains the same, but the way I get there might need to change. So I might look at it and go, you know what, I was doing a stack of this, but now I've worked out that my back's a bit stuffed. So now my priority, what is more important is that particular session that I was doing. Now seeing my physio is more important, okay? But we've got to be careful with that, and we've got to make sure that we're really honest with ourselves, because I've seen a lot of half-baked athletes who, when I say to them, what are you doing today? Why aren't you training? Oh, my body needed rest. I'm just doing what serves me best. That's a cop-out, okay? So you've just got to be really honest with yourself. Find out what you need, sure, but make sure that we're constantly staying on track with that. So just a quick recap. We need goals. That's the easy part. They've got to be realistic goals. Dream big, but make sure they're realistic. We need short-term goals that are linked to that. We need a plan, and we need to write that plan down. If you don't know how to write that plan down, seek out people who can help you and help you formulate what you can do to get there. That plan should be detailed. What are you going to do each and every day to help you get to your goal? And the less people that are around you, the more important that is going to be that you have that plan, so you know that at 10 a.m, boom, that's what I'm going to do. If for some reason you need to deviate from your plan, so if, for example, it gets to 4 p.m. on your Thursday, and at 4 p.m. on Thursday, you've made a commitment that you're going to do 100 push-ups, and you find yourself that you just can't do it for something important's come up and we need to deviate, that's fine. But as soon as we deviate, we get straight back on. So at 7 p.m, 8 p.m, we get straight back on. And then tomorrow Tomorrow's the day that we've got to go again, because otherwise that's the day you fall over. Once you lie to yourself once and you say to yourself, oh nah, I don't need to do that today, it's a slippery slope, it's all over. The other thing as well, when we talk about accountability, is your resources, using people around you. So say, for example, to your partner or your housemate or something, like maybe your coach online, hey coach, I'm going to be doing this at 4 p.m. on Friday. And then at 4 p.m. on Friday, when you find yourself watching Married at First Sight, they can give you a clip around the ear and say, hey, you told me this is what you were going to do. Ultimately, they're not going to hold a gun to your head. It's still going to be you. It's still going to be you who decides, you know what, I did. Come back to that goal. What's that goal? Okay, cool. Yeah, I really wanted to, get my blue belt. Cool. And then from there, we're back on again. But keep coming back. Don't be annoyed if you waver, but be tough on yourself and make sure that we keep coming back to what that goal was, what our plan was, and the accountability part. That's the bit that'll waver that we've got to keep sticking with. Cool? So let's leave it at that. Stay focused, stick with your goals. Let me know what your goals are. It's good to tell people. If you tell people, you're more likely to do it. And don't be afraid. If you think people are going to laugh at you, you need to find better friends. Cool? Thanks. We'll catch you soon.